Great. So I want to welcome everybody to our session today on a fascinating subject called closing costs, focused primarily on buyers' closing costs. And the reason that we're spending time talking about this is because if you're a real estate agent and you want to have value that you could show that you could share with a potential buyer. Let me put it this way: why would a buyer want to work with you? I mean, just think about that, right? Think about yourself and what you know and what you do, and why would a buyer want to work with you? And if you don't have a lot of experience, it comes down to a few things. Number one, your knowledge of the market. That's why if you're in our plays team and going through the launch program, we're suggesting that you preview properties and you know what's happening in your local market and the statistics and you become an expert. And that market knowledge can help you compete against experienced agents. Right. One way that you could get people to want to work with you is if you knew inventory and what's happening in your local market. And some of you may be thinking, yeah, I don't. Right? I really don't. I don't go to the board tour. I don't preview homes. The only house that I've seen in a long time is the one I live in. I got no idea what's going on in the market. Okay, well, let's put that aside, right? You don't have market knowledge. What else? Well, one thing you could do is you could be a conduit and a counselor, let's just say, when it comes to the financing and the closing and all of that process that's involved, much of which the buyer may have some fear about. And if you can direct them to a good lender partner, if you could direct them to the right to the right escrow company. It was going to come out in the moment there, and so that could take some of the burden off of them. Then obviously you'd be more valuable. They would like to work with you because you seem to know what's going on. The third is a package of services, which we talk about in the buyer representation. But today we're talking about being able to answer buyers' questions about what's going on with closing costs. And although you're going to learn, it would be better to have Melissa do it, but I'll do it in order because they're probably better at it than you. There are going to be times when you're stuck. You're at a coffee shop and somebody's going to say to you, give me a rough idea. What would it look like? How much over the down payment? How much more do I need? And you may not have these other two people sitting around waiting to get a phone call. So you need to learn how to do some of this to a certain degree yourself, which we're going to talk about too. But and Brandon is here. Do you want to be? Do you want
Yeah,
to? Here? I guess
I'm
we have to
here.
put Matt up too. Then, if we've got two, I'm just wasting everybody's time. Why don't we go ahead, Melissa, and talk about from the escrow perspective, what's involved in closing costs and what should a real estate agent know?
All right.
Okay.
Well, hello, everybody. I'm
Oh,
Melissa with Chicago Title. I
Yeah,
have my counterpart, Brandon.
yeah. I'm Melissa will probably take the first part, and I just wanted to touch real quick on a calculator that will get you the pricing breakdown when you don't have Melissa to lean on. So I'm the sales rep for Chicago Title. I support Melissa. I've seen some of you before, some of you I have not, but I'll let Melissa take it from here, and then I'll take the other side.
All right. I have a lot of agents that will email me if they have a buyer that they're potentially working with, or they find a property and they say, "Hey, we found this property. If we put in an offer at this amount, what is that going to look like?" If you're if you're wanting to get an estimated statement from me, sorry. Um, the best thing to do is to give me as much information as possible. Um, we have a couple different tools that you can use. Brandon's going to link our customary buyer's cost per county to the chat box so that you guys can see that. So that's the first thing you need to know is what county is your property in? What are the customary closing costs? Each county has their own customary closing costs as far as does the buyer pay for the escrow fee or does the seller pay for the escrow fee? Are there county transfer tax? Do you need, is that split 50-50 or who pays for that? That's a great tool to have in your arsenal when you're sitting at a coffee shop, as Mike said, because that's the first thing you're going to want to know is what location are you looking for?
So I did just put I put those two flyers, the customary practices and understanding closing costs in the chat. If you guys want to download that, it's available in PDF.
And it's good when you're doing your contract too, so that you can lean on that. Our title and escrow fees are filed with the Department of Insurance, so they are fixed and they are based on the sales price and the loan amount. So those will always stay the same. They're not negotiable, unfortunately. We always have escrow fee, title insurance for the buyer. If it's an all cash file, there is no title insurance for the lender. There are no other ancillary fees such as concurrent closing fee, which is a fee that we charge when we are working with a buyer. Typically, we'll have, each party has a notary fee. We have recording fees. We have, those are pretty standard. If you are looking for an estimate, let me know if there's going to be an exchange. Let me know if it's construction, because sometimes we'll have additional fees that you might want to know about and inform your buyer of. Exchange, there is a different cost. If there's construction, then we may have to go out and do an inspection the day before recording, so there's an additional cost. So it's just important to give us as much information as humanly possible when you're looking for a statement. However, the tool that Brandon has or that Chicago Title has that prepares the statement for you, it's a great tool because it will give you the basic information. As Mike said, if you're sitting in a coffee shop and buyer says, I just want ballpark, what is it going to look like? Our Chicago Title estimated statement app is great for that.
And I put the website. I might have to do the www. That doesn't connect. It's called chicagoagent.com. You guys have probably heard of it, or it's Agent One, #1 closing cost calculator in the nation, most widely used. I got, I think, with close, it's a little over 500,000 agents currently use it between us and Fidelity. So let's say you don't have access to Melissa and it's a Saturday, you're at coffee and you need to pull something up, you need numbers for your client. Go to chicagoagent.com, or if you're not on your PC, download the app on your phone. It works just as good. You just don't have as much real estate. And then once you're on the front page, I don't know if am I able to share my screen?
Yes, I'm already sharing that particular screen, but you can share your screen too.
Oh, okay.
If you want to share your
If
screen,
you,
go ahead.
yeah, sure. Yeah. Let's see.
I'd already pulled it up.
Okay. So it's gonna look like this when you first get there with the buyer seller options. I won't take you through those calculators because I've done that in the past and we can do that another day. But just to get title and escrow fees, just to give you a general idea, you want to go to calculators. That's the third tab, and then click on title and escrow fees calculator right here. And then all it'll ask you for is home price and down payment, and it'll kind of give you kind of a accurate estimate. And it's not perfect, but it's going to give you what you need for your clients to get them an answer. So if we do like 1.5 down payment of, let's just do 10% and compute. There you go. You have the standard costs of what we charge for on the title and escrow side. If you share it, the share button will give you a couple different templates, so it's a little bit more presentable for your clients, and it breaks it down a little better in line item form. So once you have it here, you can, well, here's the other template since we're a little bit it's more of like an infographic. You kind of like gauge the your client and how they are. Do they like black and white? Do they like whatever the look is, you can pick. We give a few different options, but once you're happy with that, you know, you can print, download, email, and it's there for you to use. So very easy tool, free to sign up. We do have a premium side for the extra marketing and personalization. Like this, you wouldn't see my face, and this would be all you and your branded and your brand. But and that's $10 a year or $1 a month to get that. And I would highly recommend looking into that. But right now it is free to use, free to sign up. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers what you're looking for, right, Mike? Is that everything?
Yeah, well, yeah. What I and
Here, I'll stop share.
correct me if I'm wrong, but the way I look at the three pieces, which are the agent, escrow, and the lender, right? In terms of chronological order, what happens first, and sometimes what happens first is they're asking general questions about closing costs. Now, I don't actually use this calculator. What I would do is pick a property that they were interested in the area that they're interested in, and I would run the full one, because there are things like property inspections and termite inspections that aren't necessarily done by the seller already, that are going to be expenses. They're more expenses.
That makes sense. And
The
if you want
title and escrow fees, right? And then there's some of them are loan expenses, and it does a good job of estimating that. So after I gave them a general idea by using the buyer side on a property, then I would have them talk to Badal and say, well, you know, this varies by lender, right? It changes depending on the loan and the lender. So now you need to go talk to the loan agent, and the loan agent's going to show you what those options are. And then it would eventually be with Melissa, right? Because she doesn't know all the loan things until the lender has drawn the loan. I mean,
Sure. So maybe it would have been better to show you, take you through the seller net sheet,
no,
because
buyer.
it does no, or
This
the
is a
buyer
buyer.
side.
This is a buyer session.
Okay. So
So
on the
buyer
buyer
closing
side,
cost. Yeah.
but because we have something that it works with called HomeLink, and it
Right.
will track down that remaining loan balance, and even give you kind of a ballpark of what the average interest rate is. So it does give you a little bit more information. So if you were to go to chicagoagent.com, it will default to the buyer estimate calculator, and you just fill that out. It's pretty self-explanatory. Home price, once you put in the address, it will automatically link it with the HomeLink component that it uses, and it will pull up all that information. You just click OK and then produce the net sheet, just like I did with the other calculator.
This has more questions to answer. And some things can vary. For example, the cost of homeowners insurance, right? It's got a factor, and the factor is accurate, let's just say, but that's something that changes a lot. And so at this point, we're giving them a rough estimate. Then they're going to talk to the loan agent. They'll get that part more, nailed down. Then in escrow, we'll be, giving them the closing disclosure at some point with everything.
Do you want me to do it real quick? It only takes 2 minutes.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. Just a quick example, because this is one of, for all of those that are listening, this is one of the programs that I believe you ought to learn how to use as a real estate agent. You ought to learn the MLS RPR, zip forms, the CRM for your company or team, and you ought to have this program on this application on your cell phone and know how to do it well enough that you could do it at a coffee shop or on the seller side at their house on a listing appointment. It's my personal,
No, I agree. I use it every day.
yeah.
Okay, so you start off, you put in the address. Once you click the address, it pretty much starts working for you. You have the home link, like I mentioned. It's going to come up with the annual property tax. All of this stuff can be adjusted. It's just coming up with estimates. What tax is pretty spot on. But say like the loan amount, which we'll see in a second. So let's do 2.5 for this one.
The home link loan amount is based upon the current owner's loan amount, not
Correct.
the buyer's
Correct. Yes.
loan amount. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Put in a home price, down payment, got the average interest rate, and
so here's the buyer's commission.
Yep.
You would put it in,
mhm,
right? These I like to focus on the important parts.
sure.
And then in that drop down off to the right where it says buyer, does that have, so who's going to pay it? We're going to ask the seller to pay it. Isn't that right?
Mhm.
And we might have 2.5%, but we might be, it's only 2,500,000. So we're going to need as much as possible, huh?
Yeah. So you after you have all that filled out, it's pretty self-explanatory. You go compute. So it has some options here. So 2024 recorded tax of 24,684, estimated annual property tax is 31,250 based on the 200. So it's based on that price that I put in. So let's just go with that.
Yeah.
All right. So as soon as that, everything's a little slower when I'm sharing my screen. It's pretty quick when you're not on Zoom sharing, but let's see. Come on. There we go.
I see that error message a lot too.
Okay, so it's going to give you a quick little snapshot preview of what you're dealing with. If you want to add or subtract any last second costs, you click on edit here, and you can go down and say you want to take off.
How about add something?
You can add it too. So that would be under.
I think if you scroll down, can't you add it at the bottom of this?
Right now it's a little locked
on.
on.
So let me just
but Mike, real quick. So your miscellaneous, that's where you would add. You go to the gear, and then this is where you add or subtract whatever item you want, and you can do percentage or dollar amount, and you click done, and then that would add. So is there something you wanna add? What would you?
Sure. Common things that a buyer would be adding. Number one is a property inspection. Right?
Okay.
Depending on the size of the property, that could be, $1,500, $2,000, right? This is what a $2.5 million property could be. It could be a lot. A termite inspection.
Okay.
Right? Because we're assuming not everybody that's on the call is in Silicon Valley, where 90% of the time the seller has all this stuff. So the buyer's doing that.
Okay.
And that would be 150 maybe for are there other inspections the buyer wants? Is there a pool?
Mm-hmm.
They want a roof inspection. Is there a septic? Is there a septic inspection, a sewer, and so you sort of have to know what are those inspections in your area and how much they relatively cost. And how would you find that out? Well, one of the things you ought to be doing is maintaining a list of vendors that you could call on as a buyer's agent, including all those inspectors. And you could find out what it would cost and how long it would take and then put those numbers in. But there's many thousands of dollars. So you have to handle the commission, right? Who's going to pay the commission? That's a big one. and all those other inspections. Other than that, the standard default settings, I think, are just fine.
Okay. You do have a little overview real quick before you finalize the estimate. They give you some loan details over here on this tab, but let's just say we're good with what we have. You click share or print PDF, and then it gives you a handful of different templates here you can use. And remember, this is all going to be personalized to you if you were to go with the premium, which is I highly recommend. It's, I mean, $10 a year for the annual, so very affordable. So you don't like this template, you have other options. It's a little black and white, more straightforward, no infographics. But you can scroll down here and pick whatever one works for you. They also offer, based on the property, the home report, which is kind of cool. I don't want to get off topic, but they do have some other cool stuff here. But then it just gives you the option to email, download, print. And you could save your estimates to the estimate tab, and then it'll be stored for you. So this is all available to you for free. ChicagoAgent.com if you want to sign up.
Cool. Anything else about this, Melissa?
I think we're okay. I mean, I think I've added, I don't want to give too much information, but I think that's a really great place to start if you're looking for an estimate. And of course, if you want something a little more detailed, you want to talk it through, you can always reach out to me, or even Brandon, and he can connect us together and I can prepare something a little more detailed as well.
But it would help, wouldn't it, if they had already talked to a loan agent and had that all worked out, wouldn't
It does, absolutely. Because again, this is again very estimate, and as Mike said, there are so many other variables, and we don't want to set ourselves up to disappoint a client by not giving as much information as possible.
we don't want them to find out at the last minute that they need to bring more money to the closing table than they were planning on it, and then they don't have it. And then they're asking you to lend it to them because you're the one that prepared the statement, something like that, right? So
Exactly.
this was a good segue into talk to a loan agent first, but do you want to go from here? Tell us who you are and
Yeah, sure. Let me share my screen real quick.
uh,
Okay, perfect.
oh,
Thank you.
Monica, just a second. Monica has her hand up.
Oh, yes. The question was for Melissa. How soon can we get the estimate?
If you are asking me for just a random, estimate, it really doesn't take me very long to put it together. So I can get it to you probably within an hour if we have all the information needed. If you've just gotten into contract and we've opened escrow, we're in contract, it usually takes me a little bit longer just to put together, to input all the information. But yeah, it's really quick.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Great. Thank you so much, Michael. And I think this is a very great topic, to educate agents to understand all the cost associated with the transaction. So let me introduce myself. My name is Badal Patel. I'm loan officer with Envoy Mortgage, and I am located in California, Bay Area, California. I am licensed in 5 states, so licensed to loan in California, Idaho, North Carolina, Oregon, Texas, and I think Arizona is in progress. Just FYI, and my branch is licensed in more states. So if this 6 states not, you have something else from different state, my branch has more state license in more states. And I do speak 3 languages. With English, I speak Gujarati and Hindi, and I can understand Punjabi. So if your buyer or client needs some help on a different language, I'm happy to help. And if something, we don't want buyers goes away because of the communication gap. So I'm always happy to help. So to great topic today, in Envoy, right? We the there we educate buyer with accurate closing estimate and side by side comparison with the different loan programs. And sorry about that. Oh my God. Um, Loan programs and structure. So here I'm going to present two thing. Cost estimate is a worksheet, how it is and what it is, and there's a tool called Mortgage Coach. We use this tool to educate buyer, accurate side by side comparison with the different programs. So I'll go little deep dive in a bit. So let's start with the cost worksheet. This is the cost worksheet look like when we have enough information. Um, we You can see all the details like loan detail, estimated monthly payment, lender's fees, and some more detail. And we shared this worksheet with the client, and I can share with all of you, like to the sample worksheet that helps you to understand what are the fees are associated with the transaction from the lender's perspective, which includes title and escrow. If you where Melissa and Brandon chime in. So let me go a little, show you a little bit. So this is a loan detail, like estimated value, loan amount, and some like loan terms like interest rate and terms of the loan. Um, this is monthly payment that the associated with the loan. So uh, with the like hazard insurance, taxes, or if any HOA is associated with the property. The next one is lenders fees and taxes. So anything that require your processing, underwriting fees, and some other details. Um, Third party fees, any appraisal cost, credit report charges, where we get the third party, to, for example, inspection report or anything else that associated with the transaction. um, and this is a summary of everything, and how much total due from the borrower, how much fund will require to close this transaction. I can share the sample worksheet with all of you. If you just let me know if you interested to get to get the sample worksheet, and if you have question, I can definitely jump on a call and help you to understand. So that was the first, worksheet that we share with the borrowers during the transaction. And the second part is, this is a very fun tool. Um, uh, so in this section, okay, we use Mortgage Coach to educate buyer. We show them two different option, three different option whenever we have option for the loan program. In this scenario, we have to, for example, there's a purchase, new first time home buyer, and we have two options, confirming 30-year fix and FHA 30-year fix. And what will be monthly saving, 5-year saving, and long-term saving. So this, using this tool, you can see the first section, it's overview of estimate your monthly payment each month. Um, and second section, how it will, from that monthly payment, you can see that this is a two different loan program. Confirming is 7.125, if you here in the screen, and FHA is 6.87. Don't quote in this rate. This is just for the example. The rate might be down or up based on the loan programs and how loan structure, but this is little just for the presentation perspective. In this scenario, FHA loan rate is little lower than the confirming rate. But if you see, because there's a mortgage insurance associated with the FHA loan, how it will affect your monthly payment, you are end up paying a little bit more on the FHA loan, right? Over 60 months, you are you're saving more money on the confirming loan. And so in 15 years, you can see is the difference. So who wants to take a guess which loan program we should suggest to the buyer? Who wants to say, I, so you can see in 15 years, interest and MI, you are spending 500,000, 554,000 in this if you choose FHA, and you are if in confirming only 518,000. So definitely we suggest the confirming loan, even though APR, like the interest rate, is little higher on confirming. It's better to choose that. So let me show you quick demo how it is. Sorry. So yeah. So when buyer borrower log in to the screen, once we configure all the loan part, you can see this is what buyer sees in their screen. The whatever two options we are proposing, from the monthly, over 60 month, over 15 year, all the details and all the loan details here. So let me get back to the presentation. All right. So I two things, right? I can share you that worksheet. If you're interested, please let me know how you can connect with me. Three easy ways: call, text, or WhatsApp. Old way. You can scan this QR code. There is a link hub page. You can either share with your borrowers. You can apply directly from there, or you can schedule a time with me where I can help you to either structure your loan or any question. 15-30 minute call. We can schedule and help you out. And before I hand over to Michael, I am planning to host a webinar Tuesday. This I would like to invite you for upcoming webinar. It's a power pack session designed for agents and buyers. We'll break down how lender credit and seller concessions can smartly structure to reduce out of pocket cost, or maybe make sure how we can close the deal when buyers have a limited fund, and without compromising terms and timing. So I'm planning to host this webinar on Tuesday. You can scan and register. There's a simple QR code. You can just register. And this is about in that worksheet, in the lender fee section, you see this discount point or lender credit section. It's minus, means you're getting some money back, which helps you to either in for a closing cost or any other fees associated with that. So join for 30-minute session. We can definitely help you. So question.
Don't everybody blurt out one at once.
Awesome. If you don't have question, just message me. I would love to help you to either structure your loan or any question, any before I forgot, place agents is easier for you. You just log into your Brevity CRM. On the right side, you find somewhere you find Envoy referral, and when you do that, search for my name, and you can just have, it will come to my CRM, and we have a communication between two CRMs. So let me know if you have a question, and hand back to Michael.
There's the mortgage mastery session series that goes on. Would that be open to non-place agents or? Do you know?
Michael, sorry, Matt, do you want to chime
I
in?
think the answer is yes, but
Yeah, I think we have a few answer is yes, short answer is yes, and I can find the
well,
registration and
I
get.
believe it, the answer is yes. And if it's not, you can blame me, but I have the link to sign up for it, which I've already pasted in. So remember I went through the three ways in which you could impress a client, a buyer client. One is you know the inventory. When they tell you they're looking for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house that's in a good school district that requires a little bit of fixing, that you might actually have something in mind. Right, that's one. Number two is understanding financing well enough that you can at least have a conversation with people intelligently and direct them to the right resources. And understand when they say, what is this, right? That you could explain what the fees are, or at least generally what they mean at the beginning. And so I would learn about loans, right? It would be a good thing, right? Not that you're going to be a loan agent, but learn about FHA and VA and all the different loans that are common in your area and some loan products. If you're new to real estate, one of my suggestions is learn one loan program, right? And if you think that you're going to be dealing with first-time home buyers, you talk to Badal about what would be a good first-time home buyer loan, right? Tell me about it and give me the information so that you could explain that loan to somebody. So at least you could explain some loan to somebody, right? That would help a lot, right? And then pretty soon you'll be explaining multifamily loans and investor loans, and you'll be, a whiz about it. That's my dream, right? Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I think education is key. More, at least from the as an information side, if you know a little more about, all the products that associate with all the transaction, I think that helps you to talk with the buyer, and you can, able to close the deal quickly. Like instead of buyers are looking for multiple agents, they will get some confidence with you, and able to close the deal.
Yes, when they say, well, in addition to our down payment, roughly how much more money are we going to need to buy this house? And you say, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I'll try and find out. Have you tried ChatGPT asking it? Maybe we can do that together. It's not a good look. You know what I mean? All right. Unless we have any more questions or comments, we're going to call it a day. And some of you have seen my shameless promotion about getting a review for the team. This is, by the way, a message to all of you that have been coming to my sessions, have never sent me money, never sent me a present on my birthday, right? Never, nothing, right? Never, not a thank you card, not anything. Right. And if you fall into that category, I'll bet you're feeling kind of guilty right now, aren't you? Right. I'll bet you are. But there is redemption. There is a way you can get out of this, and that is go to my review website and leave me, hopefully, a positive review. Right. And I'm sure that Melissa and Badal are thinking right now, I wonder if we could do that too. Would that be allowed? And the answer is yes, as a matter of fact. That's true. Brandon's already done it, which is why
Yeah, I'm in the clear.
I didn't pick on him. I promised Angela I'd be subtle. So that's mine. All right. Well, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Mike.
Mike.
Have a good day. All right. Bye.
Thank you.